Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a 12 volt 100 amp hour battery from Litime. It's a lithium iron phosphate and it's a group 24. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. Alright, and in perfect Litime fashion we have a pamphlet package with your user manual and some stickers and a quick start guide and a service card. So there's that on top. It does say that the post bolts are here, so we'll go ahead and pull those out right here. Nice big thick piece of styrofoam, which is nice. And then we have the battery right here. Okay, so a little bit about this battery. Like I said before, it is a group 24, so that means that it's a little bit smaller than your standard size battery. And I believe this form factor is perfect for RVs. So that's why they make them in this form. Handles are rigid plastic. They don't have the nylon handles. It does have M8 terminals, so you can use M8 bolts, and I believe it comes with M8 bolts that are 16 millimeters in length. The dimensions of this battery is it is 10.24 inches in length. The height is 8.3 inches, and the width is 6.63 inches. And I can't find the weight anywhere, but I'm guessing it's right around 21 pounds. This is your standard 100 amp hour battery. The BMS inside does allow it to charge and discharge at 100 amps continuous. It is recommended that you do charge it at 20 amps. In today's video, I will be charging it at 75 amps just to make sure it can do it just fine. It is IP65 rated, so you can use it in a marine environment. And then last but not least, it does say that it has a maximum discharge of 400 amps for 100 milliseconds. So we'll be testing that in a little bit. Okay, when you first receive your battery, the first thing that you should do is check the voltage on the terminals. The battery should come to you at around a 50% charge, which is between 13.1 volts and 13.2 volts. So let's go ahead and test that now. And our voltage is 13.18 volts, so that is perfect. Okay, now that we know we have a working battery, let's go ahead and charge it up and do a discharge test. All right, everyone, it is the next day and our battery capacity test is done, so let's go ahead and check it out. And you can see that we got a total of 106.15 amp hours out of this 100 amp hour Litime 12 volt 100 amp hour battery. That equates to 1297.85 watt hours, and the test took 8 hours and 47 minutes. And currently I am charging this battery back up with a 75 amp charger. And this thing says that it likes to get charged at 20 amps, but I'm charging it at 75 just to show that it is not having any issues whatsoever. I mean, the battery really isn't even warm, just like the cabling is fine as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off this charger inverter and put it on a 5,000 watt inverter, and we're going to start doing some high amperage testing. Okay, here's our setup for our 100 amp continuous test. What I have over here is my New Wave induction cooktop. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on to 1300 watts and boil some water. And then we're gonna be able to monitor how much amperage is going through the cabling. And we're gonna look at the voltage drop on the battery. So let me go ahead and just point you right at these, and I will tell you what I'm doing. Right now, the inverter is on and it's only using 0.8 amps. And our battery, I've only got these taped on, so hopefully this does okay, but... Okay, let's go ahead and plug in the induction cooktop. Okay, and it's using a little bit more. We're down to 13.3. And I'm gonna go ahead and just push this right to 1300 watts on max sear and start. Let's go. All right, our amperage has jumped up over 100. It's now at 110. Our voltage is down to 12.97. We'll see if it holds there. I've also got this timer right here, so we'll go ahead and start this timer. And we're going to let this run for 5 minutes just to make sure it can handle 111 amps with no problem. Okay, well, it has been over 6 minutes now, you can see down here. Let's go ahead and look at what the amperage and the battery look like. And we still are running 110 amps, and the voltage is down to 12.88. But still, that is pretty good. It's only gone down, what, maybe a tenth of a volt? So it is holding steady after 5 minutes. Actually, after 6.5 minutes. So let's go ahead and look at the temperature of the battery. Let's go and scoot this back. All right, here is the temperature of the battery right here, and you can see right here on the front, you can definitely tell this is where a wire is. I mean, it's 95, 96 degrees, so it's actually warmer than the external batteries. On top, again, we're looking at, we're only looking at 85 degrees on top, so it's no big deal. And then if you look at it from the side, again, the case is only 85 degrees. Everything looks like it's well within temperature of pulling 110 amps for, well, over 7 minutes now. All right, well, we're gonna let this lithium battery kind of cool down a little bit, and I am gonna go find something else that can kind of boost this up to maybe 200 amps. And we'll see how long it can run that. Because in the documentation, it says that it should have a max amperage discharge of 100 amps. And it does say that it can run a 400 amp load for 100 milliseconds. That's like a tenth of a second. So yeah, I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we're gonna go ahead and crank 200 amps out of this. I've given this battery about 5 minutes to cool down, and so we're gonna go ahead and do roughly a 200 amp test. Now, honestly, this battery should shut down after a minute. I'm gonna give it a minute. It should shut down after like 10 or 15 seconds of having 200 amps, because it really shouldn't pull 200 amps for an extended amount of time. It can pull 100 amps for an extended amount of time, because that's what it's rated for its maximum. But 200 amps, it really shouldn't pull it for more than 10 to 15 seconds. I'm gonna give it, a minute or two, because I don't want to burn this battery up. The internals could actually start getting dangerously hot at these amps. So let's go ahead and start it up. What I have over here is a griddle and my induction cooktop. So we're going to go ahead and start those up, and you are going to be watching the voltage and the amperage of the battery as I turn them on. Okay, you can see the voltage is at 13.36 and the amperage is sitting right around 1.2 amps, just because the induction cooktop is on but not running. So let's go ahead and max out the induction cooktop again. And that should jump back up to 110 amps. Our battery is dropping down to 12.9695. It looks like we're sitting stable, so let's go ahead and turn on the griddler. And now we are up to 226. Our voltage has dropped down to 12.5. Let's go ahead and start a timer. Okay, timer set. Okay, it's been 30 seconds. All right, it's been a minute. It's been over a minute 30. All right, it's been 2 minutes. Okay, let's look at the thermal for this battery. You can see that this right here, we're looking at 108 degrees Fahrenheit, which isn't terrible. 107 over here. The sides of the battery are still at 85 degrees. You can see that wire inside. It's at 112 degrees right there. 110, so it's getting real hot, and that's on the outside of this case. So you got to wonder how hot that wire is getting. So it's been 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. All right, and then as soon as I stop it, everything reduces down, and the battery is back to 13.2. And it will probably keep going up. Okay, I've let this battery cool down for over 9 minutes now. Just so we can do this final test, I'm going to do a final push on all the amperage I can using my Shopsmith. Now, I've done this test before with another battery. You can see the video right up here if you want to check that out. And it pushed 368 amps. And that battery actually ran it, which was amazing. So we're going to go ahead and do the same test on this Li-Time battery. And we'll see what our max amperage is, and we'll see what the voltage drop is. So I'll go ahead and move you close, and then we'll start the test. All right, I'm turning on the inverter. So it's jumping up a little bit. Our voltage is at 13.35, let's just say. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the Shopsmith now. Wow, look at that, 398.8 amps were pulled through this battery. So that is about as close to 400 amps at what it said it would give it for 100 milliseconds. I mean, I'm guessing it did. Let's go ahead and set the range so it just shows the amperage. This test is just going to show you what the amperage is while this is running. So you're going to see some pretty good size fluctuation here. Okay, so what do I think of the Li-Time 12 volt 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery that's in a Group 24 casing? This thing packs a punch when it comes to the amount of amperage you can get out of it. It's really rated for 100 amps of continuous discharge and charge, but I've proven that you can charge it with 75 amps with absolutely no problem, which is under the constraints of the battery. And you can actually discharge it for over 5 minutes at 100 amps, actually 110, and you can discharge it for a couple minutes at over 200 amps, which that kind of concerns me. I feel like the BMS should shut down after a certain amount of time when you're reaching that way high amperage mark, like that 200 amp mark, because the internals inside, I don't believe, are rated for that kind of continuous draw. We did do a test where we did a max amperage test, and it did ride up my Shopsmith, and it showed 398 amps. Now, it says that it would do that for 100 milliseconds, and that 100 milliseconds was enough to start up my Shopsmith. So that is very impressive. This battery, it does not have any kind of Bluetooth capability. It does not have cold temperature protection. It's basically just your basic storage battery in a Group 24 case. But it is of pretty high quality, and it will give you the power that you need. If you do want to see a teardown of this battery, you should check out my Canadian friend, Roland. I'll go ahead and put a link to his review of this battery in my description. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about the Li-Time 12 volt 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery, please leave a comment. Again, thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.